Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for round 2 of the No Limit Racing High Stakes Late Model Series, supported and sponsored by P1 Sim Sports. I'm Rhys Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box for the second round here at Lincoln Speedway, which is getting off to a bit of a quicker start than we thought. No qualifying session in the server for this particular round. So here's hoping that we actually manage to get through all the pre-show stuff in time, because they are already rolling off the grid, Zippy. Well, we'll go straight to that grid with Julian Shanks on pole position, Cody Racine on the front row with him, JP Shed and Mason Setting, a driver who has rejoined us from the first season of No Limit. Connor Murphy and James Dorr round out your top 6, with Shane Leggett, Aidan Lambert and Tyrell Thornton rounding out your field. Of course, is Shane in the sim, Braden Leggett on our overlays. Let's get ready for some close racing here, Zippy. I've always enjoyed Lincoln Speedway. It's a technical track, and it's going to be very tight indeed as the pace truck comes in.
Absolutely, Rhys, absolutely. It's going to be an absolute belter of a show. Certainly took us for a bit of a surprise there, Rhys. We're going to have to see how this one works out. But indeed, it's going to be a fun one as we're getting the first heat hot and underway.
Good start from the second place car of Cody Racine, who gets into the lead as everyone tries to find their spot on the track there. Jay Shed has passed our pole sitter Julian Shanks as well. Shanks is under attack in the white car from just about everybody, but gets up the inside of JP Shed coming out of turn 2. A little bit too deep into turn 3 though, and they're 3 wide for second place. Mason Setting up the inside. He is making good work of this.
Absolutely fantastic battle going on here for P2 right now. Cody Racine has indeed managed to pull away about 1.1 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, but indeed it is a freeway fight there. As you see a little bit of a nudge there, Shanks gets into the side of JP Shed and it's given Mason Setting an opportunity to try and catch up to first.
Well, the top 3 from each heat will transfer through to the feature tonight, so it's on for that final podium place as our pole sitter hits the inside barrier and gets into the top barrier as well. Caution comes out, but our pole sitter for the first heat, Julian Shanks, is out.
Well, I think it's going to happen with Aidan Lambert as well. Let's take a quick look here, Rhys, see what happened a little bit further back in the pack here. As we got the number 2 car, he's got a bit of a slide on, gets a little bit of a hook there, then gets bashed from behind as well. Full 360 spin. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to Julian Shanks here as well.
Yeah, his problem was he was trying to defend from the position behind and try to make a pass as well, but he turned in too early for that corner. And ultimately, a bit too much rotation on the car for his liking. That has destroyed the front end, and he won't be able to get back out there by the time the heat is done, I would imagine. So we don't have many drivers left to go in this heat. Not many laps either. 8-lap heats tonight here at Lincoln Speedway. But it's already proving that it's quite difficult.
Absolutely there, Rhys, and certainly, again, I have tried driving these cars to very no success, ladies and gentlemen. That didn't sound quite right, but very little success. I'll put it bluntly, I sucked at it pretty hard, and it's just one of those things. It's kind of like golf. It is often being, oh, they just go around in a circle. It's, you know, it's easier than it looks. Well, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, they've got 700 horsepower going to those rear wheels on dirt. It is a lot harder than it looks, so fair play to these drivers. Actually, quite a high strength of field as well. We've got 1,875, actually 1,472 I rating, all the way up to just short of 5,000 I rating in this heat race, Rhys.
Yeah, lots of high standard drivers here at No Limit Racing. So let's bring ourselves to the final few laps of this first heat, brought to you by Featherstone Welding and Fabrication. Cody Racine has managed to grab the top position, but he is under constant threat from Mason Setting, driver that we haven't seen in quite some time. He made some appearances in the last No Limit Racing season, and he is back and ready to fight here at Lincoln. He's trying to search for some fresh clay down low, but there's not much he can do versus Cody Racine here as the white flag comes out, and JP Shed is starting to make up some ground there. Connor Murphy trading positions with Aidan Lambert at the back of the field. They're all trying to sort out their positions, but it's the number 17 of Cody Racine who's going to take the win here in the first heat of the night. And actually, hang on a minute. They're going for another lap. It looks like it looks like our timing had a little bit of a glitch there. Racine will take the win that lap, apparently. Oh yeah, of course, because the laps don't count under caution. That's why. Yeah, haven't quite had my coffee for the day yet, everybody. I'm so sorry, but Cody Racine has taken the win in the first heat of the night here. And Mason Setting and JP Shed will join him in transferring through to the feature. We have Tyrell Thornton, Braden Leggett, James Dorr, Aidan Lambert and Connor Murphy, our finishers, with our pole sitter unfortunately not making it to the end. Time for Heat 2, brought to you by Twisted Speed. It's going to be Daryl Bass, who has jumped onto pole position for that one, with Christopher Bruns joining him on the front row. Caton Lancaster in third alongside Garrett Hommel, another one of our NLR regulars. Trevor McCoy and Dakota Proud on row 3. Mason Neumiller and Thomas Hall in 7th and 8th, with Josh Holden being the 9th and last car on the grid. Now, we're still sort of in the stage here, Zippy, of finding out how all of these drivers stack up against each other, because we do have some returning drivers from the first season of No Limit Racing, but the expansion this league has undergone in the off season means there's a whole lot of drivers here that we're not familiar with. So we're kind of learning as we go here.
Yeah, certainly. And here is one of the regular drivers, ladies and gentlemen. We got Thomas Hall. It's good to see he's made it back. I didn't see him at first round, but certainly Daryl Bass, he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. He definitely put in an impressive performance last time as well. Chris Bruns and Garrett Hommel both sound familiar, as indeed does Mason Neumiller. Neumiller had actually, I think he's doing well in the points right now. I do apologize, we didn't get a chance to get to them. Certainly, we didn't get that qualifying we were expecting, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed we can see Jared Murphy here in the chat saying Twisted Speed takeover.
Yes, very nice indeed. Well, we do have, as we make our way to the start, a lot on the line here. Heat 2, sponsored by Featherstone Welding and Fabrication. Away we go into the first corner. And Daryl Bass under a lot of pressure from the rest of the top 3 here, as there's contact a little bit further back. Ever so slightly, Keaton Lancaster slips up the inside of Christopher Bruns, but it's not going to be enough, not much traction down low. Lincoln's one of those circuits where the high line rules.
Well, certainly right now we're seeing Trevor McCoy trying to get into a little bit of an alternative strategy here. He's taking one of the lower lines there, looking for some grip, but having a little bit of door banging on the way. I say door, these guys climb in through the bodywork and through the gap in the cage, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed he is trying to apply a bit of pressure right now, and it's working for him. He's up 2 positions so far.
Yeah, well done to him. My apologies. Twisted Speed, the sponsor of the second heat here today, as we find our way through the turns as the race continues on. Struggling for traction at the back, side by side. Thomas Hall and Mason Neumiller trading spots there. And it looks like Josh Holden has unfortunately dropped off the back of this field. It's on for second as well. Chris Bruns versus Trevor McCoy. On the inside is McCoy, and he manages to get it done. And it seems like Bruns is going to come under pressure from Keaton Lancaster as well, as Dakota Proud and Garrett Hommel trade spots further back. There's contact. The 32 of Lancaster gets into the 54 of Bruns. This is going to be an intense couple of final laps.
Yeah, certainly power to Trevor McCoy. He has indeed managed to make his way up 3 spots in the heat race so far. It looks like there is indeed another battle happening a bit further back. I think Garrett Hommel getting involved in that. Indeed, he is. Number 42 there. Having a little bit of battle over Dakota Proud of the 19. A little bit of contact there as we are getting towards the closing stage of this race. More action further up, though. It's Keaton Lancaster, and that's contact. He's going to put him down towards the lower wall. Are we going to see an accordion effect? And around he goes, ladies and gentlemen, into the wall. And they're going to keep racing, as indeed Daryl Bass is currently in the lead.
Yep, Daryl Bass is going to come around this final corner here to take victory here in Heat 2. And very well done to him indeed, but so unfortunate for Keaton Lancaster. He was in the top 3, and he was shuffled out of it on the final lap. He ends up losing out on the feature transfer there. So That means Dakota Proud and Trevor McCoy will join Daryl Bass up at the top of the field. Last finisher being Josh Holden there. And that's going to end things off for Bass, McCoy, and Proud, who go through to the feature nice and easy. Garrett Hommel fighting his way through to 4th, with Mason Neumiller in 5th. Thomas Hall, Chris Bruns, Josh Holden, and Keaton Lancaster. Your other finishers, Lancaster ending things a lap down on the rest of the field. One more heat before we get into the alphabet here, and the number 1 of Jason McManus is on the front row here, with Tommy Littoral starting alongside him. Dwayne Hobbs and Logan Haynes on your second row. Joshua Colburn starting out of 5th alongside Adam Tyler Scott. Travis Carruthers in 7th alongside Nicholas Moll, who's our league administrator here. And Landon Falkenberg will be the last car to take to the grid there. Another 9-car field here for the third heat.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, Rhys. Good to see these guys out and about. And I got to say, we did say it in round 1, but absolutely fantastic growth here. And something we definitely want to see keep going as well. I do believe they're trying to get a Jumpy Truck Series going as well. So if Dirt Oval isn't for you, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are looking to branch out and get even more races on the go.
Indeed. Well, we do have a... we've got random... grid draws here for the second round of the championship. So that's the reason why we didn't have a qualifying session, and we've gotten straight into the racing action here. So a lot of drivers coming into this one with plenty of practice on hand, but not quite sure who they're going to be up against until they get onto the grid. As the number 1 takes us away here, Jason McManus slipping and sliding his way to the green flag. Dwayne Hobbs and Josh Colburn follow him in, but there's a move to the inside from Travis Carruthers, and he's going to get through into that coveted third and final transfer spot. Colburn needs to start fighting back instantly.
Yeah, certainly right now he is indeed up 1 position overall, but right now Carruthers up a massive 4 positions. Landon Falkenberg, he's up 4 positions as well. Some good efforts there by the 21 and indeed the 89.
Yeah, good stuff. As it's very close between Carruthers and Hobbs now. Travis, it seems, has a bit more pace than we thought he would, and he manages to get through nice and easy into second. He is controlling the traction of that number 89 perfectly. Let's see. Oh, contact. That's Colburn. That's gone sliding, and there's nothing the rear of the field can do to avoid him. The caution is out, and Joshua Colburn is pretty much out of the heat, unfortunately. He gets up the inside here on the replay, but there's contact on the exit that sends him sideways, and then it looks like the brakes just get jammed on.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an unfortunate event there. I don't think it's malicious by any means. Just got a little slightest of nudge. It was just enough to unsettle the car, and that sends him down to pit road.
Certainly does. It looks like Nicholas Moll, our one of our league administrators here at NLR, has retired from the race as well. So we're down to 7 cars. Unsure exactly what happened to Nicholas there, but we will see. Looks like, was he having some... Oh, looks like he's got some damage there. Yeah, Moll I think was one of the cars that ran into Colburn, and I think that's done in his front right suspension. There was also a stray wheel there up near the wall. But, well, car's fully back together in pit road, but we still have 7 cars left to fight over this victory. Dwayne Hobbs finding his way into 3rd place. We'll see what Falkenberg and Haynes can do to try and pressure him for that final transfer spot.
Well, at the minute, we do indeed have a cheer for the 125 car of Tommy Littoral as well. He's currently down 4 positions, but don't get me wrong, Nicholas Moll and Joshua Colburn, they're currently out of it, so this is going to be an opportunity here for Littoral to try and find his way back up and into the top 3.
Absolutely. Things starting to form up here again as the pace truck comes into the pit lane. Single file restart with Joshua Colburn been given a rear grid penalty from race control. Not that he's even out there on track at the moment, as the green flag flies with about 4 laps to go. Fan out. And Travis Carruthers is continuing to pressure here, as Dwayne Hobbs under pressure from Logan Haynes and Landon Falkenberg. Falkenberg slipping his way through the turns here. Seems a lot of drivers further back are struggling to find grip, especially on the slick there. Look at how the rear ends just kick out.
Yeah, definitely some challenging conditions here, Rhys, as indeed they are going side by side. Further up is indeed Logan Haynes, ladies and gentlemen, and Dwayne Hobbs. These guys are going at it side by side through one corner, side by side through the second. They're indeed going to be staying side by side as they continue down and lay on the straight. The whole time they're fighting, though, they are indeed losing traction to Travis Carruthers, who's currently going for a battle with the lead with Jason McManus for P1.
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Looks like final lap has begun for these two, and maybe Carruthers will just settle for second here to try and consolidate his spot. The checkered flag is out, and McManus will move to victory. Starts from pole, doesn't look back. And the third place battle goes the way of Dwayne Hobbs there. Logan Haynes was trying his best to pressure him there, but ultimately not able to do enough before the checkered flag came out. We'll have another chance in the feature potentially. We will see. McManus, Carruthers, and Hobbs are your top three, with Logan Haynes and Landon Falkenberg rounding out your top five. Adam, Tyler, Scott, and Tommy Littoral, last cars to get to the finish. Unfortunately, we lost Nicholas Mole and Joshua Colburn Jr. From the back of the field. It's time to get into the alphabet, and this is the first of our consolation races here tonight. Tyrell Thornton on top with Logan Haynes alongside, Mason Neumiller and James Dorr, your top four. Adam, Tyler, Scott, and Chris Bruns are fifth and sixth, with Connor Murphy, Nicholas Moll, and Keaton Lancaster rounding out the 9 cars to take the start here. Now, the top 7 from this race will transfer through to the feature. Got to make sure that you're not in those final 2 spots.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is indeed the mission for a couple of these drivers. Get themselves out of the bottom 2 as we're going to get this race back underway. Keaton Lancaster making an appearance in the chat. By all means, make sure you guys subscribe. We'd love to have you catching us in a few more shows here on Pit Road Productions.
Indeed, we want to thank our sponsors here as they're pacing around. Title sponsor of the series here, the high stakes late models, is Colburn Race Wraps, established in 2024, run by an active duty Navy submariner out of Georgia. They design logos, hero cards, t-shirts, dirt, and pavement cars for decent pricing. So you need something put on a car, or on a shirt or a card or whatever, make sure to check out Colburn Race Wraps as the pace truck comes in. Now, Logan Haynes has got a big opportunity here to grab a win tonight from Tyrell Thornton. Remember that Thornton finished 4th in Heat 1, so we'll see how the rest of them stack up against him there as they all struggle to get the power down off the green flag, and Thornton will have the inside into turn 1, but it seems there's more fresh clay up high. Logan Haynes to the lead.
Oh, absolutely fantastic job there by Logan Haynes. A little bit of action happening further back as well, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it is a very, very busy racetrack indeed. 9-car start. How many will finish? As Logan Haynes is currently your leader right now. He's up 1 position over Tyrell Thornton. But what about James Dorr? He's up 1 position as well. Can he find his way up onto the top 2 steps of the podium as battles are happening further back as well? Nicholas Mole looking to make a little bit of recovery there, as he really does have his handful between himself, Connor Murphy, and Keaton Lancaster. And then it's not worked out for Connor Murphy. He's up riding the wall.
And he's going to, well, yeah, he escaped off, unfortunately. So we've already lost 1 car, and it looks like we might have lost 2. Nicholas Moll is towed back to the pits as well. So everyone still running in the race is safe. They are all through to the feature. Now they've just got to sort out their relative starting positions, which will be defined by the finishing order of this race. Thornton has completely lost touch with Logan Haynes, who is jetting away up the front of the field. James Dorr, Mason Neumiller, and Adam Tyler Scott are pressuring him for second place. It's almost 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 for second place, and we're only halfway through this one. Zippy, as though there's contact, and that is going to be James Dorr into the wall, and the yellow flag flies.
Yeah, that definitely looked a little bit unfortunate. Let's see if we can catch it from another view here, Rhys.
So static cam and oh, door just hit the wall. It wasn't anyone's fault there. He was just running too high. Where the access road comes into the racetrack there, the wall juts out ever so slightly, and man, that's got to suck. He did get some help going around, but the initial contact was started by him hitting the Armco barrier jutting out. That's an unfortunate error for James Dorr.
Definitely easily done. I mean, don't get me wrong, these guys are running incredibly high speeds on dirt, on oval with 700 horsepower. I can't fault him. It definitely does happen, but certainly a little bit of an unfortunate climax there for James Dorr in that number 78.
Absolutely. Well, move on through to the end of this caution period. I believe the pace truck is pulling, or yeah, it looks like the lights are still on. So we're going to have another lap of pacing here, and they're giving the pace truck plenty of space, it seems. I'm wondering if they're actually going to get a command to catch up to the pace truck. They seem pretty content to stay where they are for now, keeping it in view. And the lights are out. Yep, so the caution is ending, and they're going to be forming back up double file for the restart. Logan Haynes and Tyrell Thornton still fighting over victory, but Logan has the pace advantage for now.
Well, certainly it's worked out pretty good for Caden Lancaster this time around. He's up 3 positions, but can he find a few more as Chris Brunn's making a move there early at the start, already side by side as well. What about Tyrell Thornton? He's got a battle amongst his hands, but Mason Newmiller, we've seen him have good success in the points, but what about today? Is he going to be able to keep delivering? As you can see, Logan Haynes was able to run away before. Is he going to be able to do it again against these two drivers chasing for P1? A little bit of a shove there from Tyrell Thornton on the back of Mason Newmiller.
Yeah, they might be fighting too hard with each other to really make any gains on Logan Haynes. They're side by side again on the exit there, and Thornton seems pretty content to run that inside line, but once again, the outside is king here at Lincoln, and Mason Newmiller moves into second place with a few laps still remaining. Okay. Got some racing going on back here between Adam Tyler Scott and Caden Lancaster. And Caden, oh, goodness, he's trying his hardest to make up these places, but it looks like the number 23 is putting his car in all the right places. Yeah,
certainly some very strategic driving there as they got about another 2 laps to go here. Logan Haynes currently leading. He's pulled away by about half a second to Newmiller. Newmiller about half a second to Thornton here, and then it's a 1.3 second gap to Adam Tyler Scott, who seems to be holding off there the challenge from Caden Lancaster, who's currently up 4 positions.
Yeah, good job. Very good job indeed. Final lap has begun, and Logan Haynes hasn't gotten away from everyone like he did during the first green flag period. He might just be cruising to the finish here. He knows that he's got the pace over everybody, and he is going to take the checkered flag with Mason Newmiller and Tyrell Thornton joining him in the top 3. That's a fantastic finish to that race. Someone backing off there. I think that might have been Lancaster who decided he was done. And Haynes evidently wanted to keep racing after the checkered. He was absolutely pummeling it around the racetrack there on the closing laps as we greet those floating arms there in the paddock. The D main will, the C main will go to Logan Haynes, with Mason Newmiller and Tyrell Thornton in your top 3. Adam Tyler Scott and Chris Bruns round out your top 5. Lancaster 1 lap down, with James Dorr also a lap down. Connor Murphy and Nicholas Moll will retire from that one. Now it's time for the B main. And this is going to be a big one. Garrett Hommel and Braden Leggett on your front row, with Landon Falkenberg and Thomas Hall on row 2. Aidan Lambert and Tommy Littoral on row 3. Then we have Josh Holden, Julian Shanks, and Joshua Colburn Jr. rounding out your 9 cars to take to the start here. And there's going to be 7 cars once again transferring through to the feature here. We want to thank No Coast Customs for their support of the consolation here. Established in 2023 by a sim racer of 12 years, Dana Burdick, who's one of our race administrators, has done it all. Former tattoo artist that took his designs from the skin to the sim. IRL paints, sim wraps, and logo creation are available. Check out No Coast Customs. So, gently does it on your way up to the green flag here. Garrett Hommel's going to have a big race here alongside Shane Leggett.
Yeah, certainly Hummel is familiar territory here, as indeed is Thomas Hall. I think he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on there in that number 83, but they are indeed going to get this race underway. I'm looking forward to it as we're getting ready for the B-main here on Pit Road Productions.
All right. Let's get things started here. When does Hummel decide to put the power down? The green flag flies and we are away. P2 was slightly ahead of P1 there at the start, but it seems everything's good as that's very sideways there. And Hummel, unfortunately, suffering some visibility in his car. Landon Falkenberg sweeps through to the lead of the race there. And look at the moves being made. That was Braden Leggett getting past Aidan Lambert, and he's going to fire it up the inside of Thomas Hall as well. There's racing everywhere you look. They're 3 wide for third.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not even sure where to point the camera at this point here, as indeed people are moving. But right now, Landon Falkenberg, he's managed to pull away, and I'd say certainly bolting for it. He's got about half a second on the rest of the field. Everybody else very much tightly packed together. There's about 0.2 of a second between each car.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Holden and Colburn trading spots further back. Hummel getting past Shane Leggett, or Braden Leggett rather. We do need to fix that one up. Let's see if the number 20 can defend this second place. There is a rollicking battle all the way through this top 6. They're all together on track, but all this battling once again means that the leader is getting away as Tommy Littoral spins, or half spins, manages to get it going again, but he moves back into 7th, which is the final transfer position into the feature. He's going to have to be careful not to make any more mistakes there as Garrett Hummel up the outside there of Braden Leggett has got Aidan Lambert to his inside as well. Oh, goodness. Hall gets into it as well, sees the door open to the outside.
I gotta admit, that's been some excellent car control for some of these drivers. Certainly a little bit of contact happening in places there. As Thomas Hall giving a little bit of a nudge there to Braden Leggett, and this time he's got Aidan Lambert on his inside. We're going to see 3 wide. Hall with a little bit of a nudge there, and Lambert has been able to sneak up on the inside. Can Hall fight back?
Look at the cutback there from Thomas Hall. The number 93 there is absolutely caning it here, managing to get into 3rd place. Aidan Lambert scrambling to keep his car stable as the dust gets thrown up around the circuit. There's barely any grip available there on that slick line, and they're searching desperately for more fresh clay up around the top, but they are finding it very lacking at the moment.
Oh. That looked like he got a little bit close to the wall there, did Aidan Lambert, and that's going to open up an opportunity here for Thomas Hall. Thomas Hall now going to be on the inside, the 93/83, and Hall's just done exactly the same thing. Lambert gets turned around, he manages to correct it, and Colburn there, right up on him, and more carnage, ladies and gentlemen, and that sounded like it hurt, as indeed these cars are miraculously still going. Thomas Hall and Tommy Hall and Julian Shanks, they're getting a little bit caught out, but what an absolutely incredible race so far still going on between Aidan Lambert, Thomas Hall, and Joshua Colburn now getting involved in the action as well.
Yeah, this has been a crazy battle for the top 3 here. Lambert now holds on to 3rd place, with Colburn finding his way into 4th. What a turnaround it's been for Joshua Colburn. Remember, he started last on the grid for this one, and the checkered flag is out. Landon Falkenberg will take victory ahead of Garrett Hummel, and the race for 3rd is won by Aidan Lambert. Colburn and Hall will join him in the top 5, with Shane Leggett and Tommy Littoral rounding out your top 7 there. They will all transfer through to the feature. Unfortunately, Julian Shanks and Josh Holden unable to make it into that magic top 7, and it looks like they will be going home. The feature grid has been set, and now we are in the warm-up, where the drivers will get their final bit of practice in before the feature zippy. And while we're here, let's give another thanks to our race sponsors. Of course, Heat 1 was brought to us by Featherstone Welding and Fabrication, mobile welding and fabrication shop located in Overland Park, housing a specialist with 17 years worth of experience. Adrian, man under the hood, has many qualifications, with some including underwater welding, nuclear and pressurized pipe. Give him a call for a quote today. 816-826-6065. That's 816-826-6065. Man, yeah, Adrian quite skilled there, it seems. We also had the second heat brought to you by Twisted Speed. And it's your one-stop shop for all of your setup needs. With Twisted Speed, you're driven to success with the motto built around wins and customer satisfaction. Use code TWISTED-INFAMOUS to get 10% off your new journey. Great setup shop there at Twisted Speed. And, well, once we get to the feature, we'll give our thanks to P1 Sim Sports as well, Zippy. Once again, Kevin from P1 has brought in his campaign from the first season of No Limit Racing. As we check out the championship standings coming into this round, Logan Haynes on top with Mason Neumiller and Trevor McCoy rounding out your top 3. Points still reasonably close, considering it's only the first round of the new championship, but we'll see what Logan Haynes can do here with him starting in P10 in the feature tonight. Right to your left. Nice. I like that. Man. It's been an interesting night so far. You know, this is the first time in a while that I've seen late models racing at Lincoln Speedway, and one thing's for sure, the outside is where you want to be early on, but as the track wears in, we've seen that pretty much any line will work. It's just a case of maintaining grip through the corners. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good track, Lincoln. It's one of those ovals that has a lot of subtle nuances to it that you need to take care of. Running the Supreme High line is obviously the way to go, but you dip down low and it's very easy to try and pull a slide job and easy to defend moves as well. But pace is king, and we'll see who has the best pace. Coming into this feature with 23 cars getting ready to take to the start. A moment to lend our commiserations to the drivers who couldn't make it into the feature. Connor Murphy finishing in 8th in the C main. We had Josh Holden finishing 8th in Heat 2. Julian Shanks 8th in the B main. Nicholas Moll unfortunately retiring from the C main, and Zachary Martin did not take to any of the starts here today, it seems. So unfortunate for them, they weren't able to make it in, but we're going to have a solid feature grid getting ready for you guys very shortly, and it's going to be a hotly contested second round of the championship. Yeah, beautiful sunset indeed, just going past 7 p.m. in sim time. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the warm-up as we transition to the floodlights here at Lincoln Speedway. Now, worth noting, this is going to be a rather interesting feature start, because the top 5 will be inverted for the 40 laps to come. That means Trevor McCoy is starting on the pole position, with Mason Setting alongside him on the front row, Jason McManus and Daryl Bass on row 2. Cody Racine and Travis Carruthers round out your top 6, with JP Shed and we have in the 8th position there Dakota Proud, with Dwayne Hobbs and Logan Haynes rounding out your top 10. Landon Falkenberg with that brilliant drive in the B main, going to start 11th alongside Mason Neumiller, with Garrett Hommel starting lucky 13th alongside Tyrell Thornton. Aidan Lambert and Adam Tyler Scott are your 8th row, with Joshua Colburn and Christopher Bruns on the 17th and 18th spots. Top 20 rounded out by Thomas Hall and Keaton Lancaster. Then we have Braden Leggett and James Dorr with Tommy Littoral at the back end of the grid. Now, James Dorr, we know, is an incredibly skilled competitor. He was one of the main contenders for victory in the previous season of No Limit Racing, starting all the way from the back rows. This is going to be a tough job for him to make his way up.
Yeah, it certainly is. Trevor McCoy, I think, is going to do very well starting at the front there. We've seen he's got good passing potential, but is he going to be able to do it when he's there out in front? There's no one for him to pass. Maybe he's so similar as me. You know, he needs traffic to work with. Maybe not hot lapping isn't his deal, but I guess we're going to find out. The number 9 car going to be sitting on pole.
Indeed. Thanks once again to P1 Sim Sports, who's continued their sponsorship of No Limit Racing throughout this season. Kevin has been a great supporter of this league from the very start, and he is continuing on there. Once again, if you want a custom nameplate, refer to someone to this league and get in contact with the admins, let them know, get in contact with Kevin as well. You might be able to get yourself one of these nameplates to hang on your rig or in your home somewhere. So, Trevor McCoy leads us away here from the start. The green flag flies. The feature at Lincoln Speedway is go. It's a better start from Mason Setting, though. A bit more traction off the start there. But dipping up the inside, making it 3 wide for the lead is Jason McManus in the number 1 car. He gets turned, though. The 17 gets in there as well of Cody Racine. And the first yellow flag of the feature is upon us. JP Shed, unfortunately, falling down the order there. It looks like JP was one of the cars that got involved there. Yeah, when Racine and McManus came together, there was nowhere for JP Shed to go.
Yeah, he was kind of the meat in that sandwich, Rhys. He was literally a sitting duck there, and fair play to the drivers a little bit further back in the field. They did a pretty good job at avoiding him, all things considered.
Garrett Hommel unfortunately getting into him, and that's the reason why he was spun around and the caution came out. So now, if anyone's gathered some damage, I believe they'll be able to pull into the pits for some fast repairs, and Cody Racine, being the cause of the caution, has been given an end-of-line penalty, so he will be starting at the very rear of the field for the restart here. And once again, if you're not familiar with dirt oval racing, laps don't count under cautions. So the drivers had better hope that if more cautions like this come out, they have enough fuel to get to the end.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed another tactic you got to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as right now it's working out for Trevor McCoy. He's managed to hold on to that top spot. A few drivers making some gains here. Don't get me wrong, Aidan Lambert, I believe he's up 3 positions. James Dorr, it's showing me, is up 4. So definitely some good stuff here happening in the field. The timing just trying to get itself sorted out right now, as the pace truck can do some very weird and wonderful things with the timing screen.
Yeah, absolutely can. We will keep our eyes peeled for the caution period to end. The lights are out on the pace truck, so Trevor McCoy is going to lead us away here on the inside for the restart once again alongside Mason Setting. And we are away. A good restart from our top 2. They are level into the first turn there, with Jason McManus continuing to pressure for third. Daryl Bass, Travis Carruthers, and Dakota Proud are your top 5. And easy out of the turn. You can see there's a couple of bumps and ruts starting to form as the track continues to evolve. Straight. Oh, okay. Caution's back out again. Looks like there's been a problem for Tyrell Thornton, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to pick up exactly what happened there, Rhys. Thomas Hall, I could tell you, went in the pits. Something happened. Let's try and get a quick replay for you.
Yes, indeed, as they pull into the pits to get fast repairs done. Keaton Lancaster, I believe, also involved in that. So we'll keep an eye on Hall here. My goodness, that is a big old whack that he's gotten there from... I didn't quite catch the number of that car, but it resulted in a massive pile-up. Fortunately for Hall, he was right there to pit lane. Is that the 32 there?
I believe so.
And
Keaton Lancaster.
Yes, indeed. So Keaton Lancaster, who's definitely shown some great pace tonight so far, unfortunately not able to get it done there. Chris Bruns, looks like, tried to get into the pits, but evidently his steering was broken from that crash.
Yeah, definitely a few casualties in that one, Rhys.
Adam Tyler Scott, this is his view of proceedings. So the coming together happens ahead of him here, and it looks like checkups and... okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cars getting checked up ahead of him, he ran right into them. So, dramas aplenty in the feature at Lincoln, but it looks like the majority of our cars are going to make their way back out onto the track. And the only car that is still in pit lane at the moment is JP Shed. And it looks like he's disconnected from the server, so he won't be here for this restart. As Mason Setting leads us away, it's on for second. Trevor McCoy and Jason McManus, and trying to slip up the inside is the number one of Jason McManus. He gets up the inside of McCoy, manages to pull the slider and protect that high line.
Oh.
McCoy can do nothing to keep it going there, and no one will, as the caution is back out again, this time for Thomas Hall, who is missing the front bumper of his car.
Well, I'm going to try and find you a replay here. Honestly, my event log, it looks like IRS paperwork, ladies and gentlemen. I think that'd probably be the best joke. It is filled with red.
Certainly is. It looks like Thomas Hall came together with Keaton Lancaster again. They were racing hard, and looks like neither of them wanted to give an inch, and Hall ends up getting into the wall there. So no love lost between Keaton Lancaster and Thomas Hall from that one.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a grudge match going on there. I do have to wonder if one of these drivers is indeed going to find himself in the penalty box if that behaviour continues.
We already had a couple of drivers from round one that have been disqualified from the results and barred from entering for round two for some iffy conduct. So it's good to know that race control is on top of all of that, and they want good, clean, hard racing in this second season of the No Limit Racing High Stakes Late Model Series. Well, the caution should be ending in just a few moments' time. Lights are out on the pace truck. Plenty of cars in the pits. I don't know if Thomas Hall is going to be making his way back out, but we will see the 17 of Cody Racine make his way back out just in time for the restart here. Mason Setting will lead us away once more, and he seems comfortable in the lead. Okay, looks like some comings together through the field on the restart. McCoy will keep that outside line going, but it seems the inside is falling to the favour of Jason McManus. He's going to start challenging for the lead.
Yeah, McManus is definitely potent. He's about 6,500 IR racing. He's certainly starting to show that here, putting himself at the front of the pack. Daryl Bass, he's giving it a good run as well. Running an ulterior line, more on the inside there, but now he's going to have a little bit of attack there. Travis Carruthers trying to make a move up the inside as well. He's also got Trevor McCoy up on the high side, making actually McCoy falling back pretty heavily now. 4 positions lost.
Yeah, early on the brakes for Jason McManus, but he is playing it perfectly, isn't he? Look at that number one, the speed that it is carrying through these corners, and the slide job is on, but it looks like McManus misjudged that a little bit. It allows Mason Setting back up the inside, but Setting is now caught on the slick part of the racetrack. There are some patches of fresh clay towards corner exit, but it's not enough. Jason McManus to the lead of the feature, and Daryl Bass, Trevor McCoy, and Travis Carruthers will now try and fight for the scraps.
You can see a couple of these drivers almost grazing the wall there, just trying to get a little bit of grip on the inside of that track, and you see them very quickly trying to get back into single file. So much action happening throughout. Let's go a little bit further back, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed we've got an absolutely huge battle further back. There's about, I don't know, 10 cars involved in this battle here, all starting, I guess P12, P30, you know what, it pretty much starts at P8, ladies and gentlemen, with Landon Valkenburg.
Yeah, Landon up 3 spots and holding on versus Dakota Proud in the number 19, but Dakota gets up the inside at turns 3 and 4. More momentum for the 21 of Falkenberg, though. The caution back out, and who's at 4 this time, I wonder? Looks like Garrett Hommel might have run into a problem here. The number 42 getting a bit of understeer on there in the turn, and he caught that barrier. That's the second time we've seen that happen to someone tonight.
Fair play. I mean, these guys are running incredibly close tolerances, and definitely I sympathise for them. As we've got another car in the pits with them there. That's a 42, and Tyrell Thornton, ladies and gentlemen, the number 8 car currently resting in the pits as well.
Yeah, not ideal there for Mr. Thornton. Christopher Bruns has also jumped into the lane there in the number 54. Evidently, lots of damage for multiple drivers here. Thomas Hall back into the pits as well. I think he might have used up his fast repairs, and there's not much that he can do to further repair the damage to his machine. Garrett Hommel, Tyrell Thornton, and Christopher Bruns hopefully will be done with their repairs shortly. Hommel has been given an end-of-line penalty for being the cause of the caution. It's been quite some time already, but we are only 13 laps or so into this feature. We are getting through this one very slowly. He is hoping we get a solid green flag run off this restart. McManus this time is going to be the one who leads us away. But Mason's setting has held on to that second spot pretty much from the get-go. He has been contending for the win the entire time in this feature. McManus leads us away, power down and across the line to begin racing once again in the feature here. And Daryl Bass down low, struggling with a bit of understeer. Looks like the momentum is not with him. Travis Carrothers will sweep around him to take third, and now he's looking for the inside line on our top 2.
Yeah, certainly Carruthers has managed to move himself up into a podium position. He's up 3 spots, but let's not discount the number 31 there of Logan Haynes. He's currently up 5 positions. Not the hard charger. That's actually further back with Braden Leggett in P12 right now, who's currently trimming everything he can to try and move up a little bit further, as indeed the yellow flag has come back out again, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, for Tommy Littoral and Dwayne Hobbs, it looks like. Also seeing that Christopher Bruns was stopped on the racetrack briefly as well. It looks like it was a coming together from all 3 of them. So up top, Dwayne Hobbs goes for a slide there. He was right in the midst of this battle here. And, well, the number 23 got caught up as well. There is Bruns entering stage right. Thomas Hall almost gets involved as well.
I gotta say, fair play to Thomas Hall there. I think the fact he had a bit of car missing actually saved his bacon on that one.
Yeah, certainly. Get on the brakes as fast as you can, and just hope is, I think, the strategy for avoiding a wreck in this feature. Plenty of damaged cars running around this racetrack at the moment. The racing up the front has been great, but it seems like once you start getting past the sort of 8th, 9th place area, things start to get a little more demo derby. Yeah,
definitely. There's been some really good racing, but certainly race control has indeed been busy. Thankfully, there's no fine per ticket. Can you imagine that, Rhys? If you got if you got a $5 fine every time there was a yellow flag, that would be absolutely brutal. But I think they're going to get ready to get this race underway very shortly.
NLR would probably be one of the richest leagues on iRacing if that happened. And I think the drivers would have to start working a couple more jobs through the week. Jason McManus, though, is going to lead us away here for the green flag. And we begin the 15th lap of 40 green flaggers. That's a spin down low from Travis Carrothers. That results in a huge pile up, but we stay green for the moment. No, caution comes out. Aiden Lambert unable to get going there, and Braden Leggett, I think, was caught up somewhere in that as well. Man, that was a huge smash, unfortunately. Very low down line, and I think a bit of contact from the 31 of Logan Haynes tipped Travis Carrothers around. So keep an eye out here and see what the view was like. That was for Tommy Literal. The crash had already happened at that point, and once again, Thomas Hall comes in sliding and on the brakes. He's had to avoid more wrecks than anyone, I think.
Well, let's have a look at it from Travis Carruthers' point of view. Honestly, there's so many things lighting up right now. So this is a battle here for P3, P4. Gets a little bit of a nudge there from the 31, and absolutely just black about works. Clogs the shitter on that one, Rhys.
Yeah, not ideal. So not only did he get that rear end contact from Logan Haynes, but I think the contact actually pushed Carrothers into the wall, which assisted in turning him around. Oof, that's a nasty view from Aidan Lambert's perspective. You know, you see a wreck starting to develop in front of you and you think, okay, which way am I going to go? You pick a line and then suddenly the door closes and it's claustrophobia central.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be a bad day for race controllers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, in theory, this show would be wrapping up in about 8 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And it's fair to play. Fair to say, I don't think they're going to be on schedule for this one.
No.
Definitely not. We're not halfway through the main race yet, and we are indeed at 16 out of 40 laps. So we need to get a full course yellow counter graphic perhaps made up if they're going to continue on this one. Sorry, fellas.
Yeah, I haven't been counting the amount of yellows, but, well, I'm sure there's many at this point. Restarts have been changed to single file by race control, and hopefully that cleans things up here. As we are led away once again by Jason McManus. It is on for third between Travis Carrothers and Daryl Bass. Side by side, Carrothers feeding the right rear into the top barrier. But there's a very thin strip of fresh clay up the top that they need to try and use.
Oh,
it seems
no.
like if you're on the inside, you can help things out there. Crash in the back. Trevor McCoy is around and the caution is back out.
Oh, dear.
McCoy was running in sixth off the restart. What happened to him here? Okay. Oh dear. Okay. Who was that? That's the number 2 of Aidan Lambert. It seems that gave him a little tap on corner exit. So not much McCoy could have done about that. I think that Lambert was trying to defend a position there and he just went in too hot. Didn't quite anticipate McCoy to be taking it a little easier through the turn.
Well, I have a feeling on this one we may need to get another sponsor on board. Maybe Napa Auto Parts potentially, because certainly definitely a few busted fenders in this one, Rhys.
Absolutely. Landon Falkenberg has been given an end of line for his part in that one. It seems that actually, no, it wasn't the number 2 of Aidan Lambert. It was, in fact, the 21 of Landon Falkenberg. Yeah, so we do apologize for that slight error. But, yeah, Falkenberg... He's had a real tough one. He started pretty far down initially, and I don't think he has much in the way of recourse here, as we're not even halfway through this feature, but we're getting restarted again. McManus protecting the inside from Setting and Carrothers. And it seems the top 3 get away nice and clean. A little bit further back, they are fighting hard for 4th. Daryl Bass got Mason Neumiller now to his inside. And is there a gap that opens for Neumiller? Not quite for the moment. Joshua Colburn is right there as well. And Colburn is up 11 positions here. Great drive through the field. Can he make it up another 2 as Bass and Neumiller trade spots through turns 3 and 4?
Yeah, some very, very close racing, and I think these drivers are settled down. I have a feeling Dana or indeed Zachary may have been on race control and given these guys a little bit of a tune-up now. Certainly, we do love having a broadcast, but you know what? If they run an hour and a half, it's going to mean they're going to start, uh-oh, that didn't look good in the back.
Looks like, oh, okay, yeah, this is big here. Keaton Lancaster has made his way back up to 9th place, and he is right in the midst of the fight with Logan Haynes and Braden Leggett. Leggett defending from Lancaster on the way through there. That's a turnaround there for Adam Tyler Scott, it looks like. And, no, it might have been Aidan Lambert. Once again, these sim-stamped numbers are bringing the confusion to us here at PRP. But we'll keep our eyes peeled for any further action in the field. Looks like 14th to 17th is on at the moment. Thornton, Falkenberg, Hobbs, and Lambert, they were all trading spots there. Big sideways moment for Lancaster, and Scott is going to follow him through down the field. Lancaster dropping down to 18th place. That is not ideal.
Yeah, definitely not what he had in mind, but right now your hard charger is James Dorr. He's currently up a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen. As you see him getting a good amount of pressure there from Logan Haynes in the 31. It's James Dorr versus Haynes. Now, Haynes he's up 3 positions overall, but James Dorr right now, he was up a massive 14 spots. Can he keep it going? We know Logan Haynes, on paper, they're pretty similarly matched, but can they keep it together? They've got a little bit of clean track ahead of them. This could be the opportunity for them to have a fantastic battle and potentially get in a single file and try and catch up to P6 ahead, as Daryl Bass has spun around.
Uh-oh, that's down low, and we've got to be careful of that one. Yellow flag has been thrown as a result for Daryl Bass. Now, did he get some help here? The 75, I think that's Colburn, and, oh, yeah, okay, so he got the contact, and it looks like the car was just swaying side to side. There wasn't much that Bass could do to recover that one. Really unfortunate for Daryl. He'd been running consistently in the top 5 pretty much, or the top 6 rather, pretty much the whole time. His run will come to a brief end, and now that we're past the halfway point of the feature, I don't know if he'll be able to make his way back up very far.
Yeah, certainly to try and make your way through such a close field and such a small circuit, it does take a incredible amount of talent and incredible amount of luck as well. Certainly, there's been some drivers who have indeed been quite potent at it, but I do have to wonder if Colburn is going to find himself with an end of line there after that little contact there with Daryl Bass.
Well, it looks like, in fact, Daryl Bass has been given the end of line for being the cause of the caution.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if looks like Colburn has been given an end of line as well. So both cars have been demoted to the back running row of the grid, as caution has been extended a little just to allow everyone to form back up. We still have 20 cars on the lead lap of this race, and the only retiree so far has been JP Shed. Thomas Hall and Garrett Hommel have been able to make their way back out there, but they are down 2 and 12 laps respectively. Man, Hommel is way down, and I doubt he's going to gain many more places from that one. But Thomas Hall could gain a couple of laps back if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, certainly he's definitely got the most angry looking car on the grid right now.
That's a big old intercooler there as the green flag flies, and McManus leads us away once more. Fighting on for third, Travis Carruthers, who is missing his right front fender, now piling the pressure on for second place, and you see that he is searching for the fresh clay down low. It seems like that's where the grip is at the moment. The outside gives you momentum, but the inside, it seems, is able to keep the pace up there. As long as you're feeding the left front onto that fresh clay, you'll get the rotation, you'll get the run out of the corner.
Let's have a look a bit further back. You see Braden Leggett there going for the higher line in that number 20 car. You can see a little bit of a move there by Dakota Pratt. It's managed to pay off for him. And now it looks like Landon Falkenberg's going to be applying some pressure. 20 versus 21 with the 17. That is the 17. Nope, that's the number 2. Who on earth is this 17 car that's not showing on the standings? Oh, that's Racine. There you go.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
lapped.
Cody
That's
Racine.
fine.
Yes. Fallen a lap down, unfortunately, is Cody Racine, who's was one of the top 5 runners early on, but this feature has not gone his way. He is fighting for literal scraps at the moment. You can see that he can keep pace with everyone around him, but he won't be fighting with anybody for position. Daryl Bass has found his way back up to 14th place, and Dwayne Hobbs is trying his best to hold on to the rear end of that number 15, but Keaton Lancaster around the outside of him. This is the battle for 15th and 16th place, and it looks like Cody Racine has ever so briefly dropped, but I think he might have returned to the track.
Yep,
some internet issues there for Racine as he's trying to keep as close to the inside barrier as he can. Chris Bruns behind Hobbs and Thornton battling for 15th place. There's a slide further back there. Looks like Lancaster falling down to the bottom of the circuit and struggling to maintain that momentum. Looks like okay, he's gotten the speed back up. I think he might just be giving himself some room.
Yeah, that car definitely seems to be damaged or something, as you can see him there bringing it into the pits.
Yeah.
But we're going to stay green, ladies and gentlemen, as Dwayne Hobbs is indeed getting back into a battle here with Tyrell Thornton. It is indeed a battle for 15th place, with Chris Bruns getting into the action as well.
Good racing between these three. The spots traded side by side through turns 3 and 4. They've got to look out for that gap in the barriers that's already taken out 2 drivers tonight over the course of the night's racing. Joshua Colburn has a great rear view of all of that fighting behind him, but not as good as you'd think. These cars don't have mirrors, so you're not able to actually see what's going on behind you. Adam Tyler Scott knows that Daryl Bass is right alongside, and he has a chance of finding a few positions. Further up in the top 7, Mason Neumiller has fallen down the order. He was fighting in and around that sort of top 3 area, but it seems he's had an issue and fallen back to 7th behind Trevor McCoy. We're going to have a look at what happened to him here. Did he catch the inside barrier, or did he get some help from someone around the outside? The 31 comes in,
huge.
and okay. I think that was half Neumiller getting a slide on and half getting a tap from Logan Haynes.
Yeah, that looked like a big hit. He certainly would have felt that, but they are indeed going to stay green. Logan Haynes right now currently up there in P4. He's got Travis Carruthers there on the inside with a little bit of damage there to the right front. Right now, Jason McManus, so he's currently in the lead. Got a little bit of lap traffic ahead of him. That's Thomas, what's his name again? Thomas Hall. There you go, right down beside him. And the race leader getting a bump there from the 125 of Thomas Litterall.
Yeah, that's not ideal there for Jason McManus, but he'll have a little bit of relief in knowing that everyone behind him is going to have to deal with the same thing. Mason Setting has been working his way through the lapped traffic, as well as it looks like actually that's the end. we got so into the flow of things that we missed the checkered flag. Jason McManus takes the win from Mason Setting and Travis Carruthers, rounding out your top 3.
I think all it was, Rhys, is we just we hadn't had a yellow flag for at least 5 minutes, so we kind of lost our pattern there.
Yeah. You're like, what lap is it again? Oh dear. Well, congratulations to Jason McManus, though. The number 1 has kept his cool all the way through tonight's racing, and he wins by 2.3 seconds over Mason Setting. Travis Carruthers, Logan Haynes, and James Dorr round out your top 5. What a run from James Dorr. He started in 22nd, remember, to finish in 5th. 17 positions gained. McCoy, Neumiller, Proud, Leggett, and Falkenberg will round out your top 10. And then we have Joshua Colburn up 6 positions to finish P11. Aidan Lambert up 3 to P12. Down 9 for Daryl Bass, unfortunately. 13th place for that one. Tyrell Thornton, the only car in the field other than Setting to finish where he started. Christopher Bruns, Dwayne Hobbs, and Adam Tyler Scott are your last finishers on the lead lap. It's a lap down for Littoral and Racine. Thomas Hall, 3 laps down. Keaton Lancaster ending the race in the pits, and unfortunately it's a terrible story from then on. Josh Holden, Thomas Hall, Keaton Lancaster, Garrett Hommel, and JP Shed all looking for better from tonight's running. Well, we have driver interviews coming, and it looks like the first driver is going to be the P2 finisher of Mason Setting there. Mason, quite the interesting night for you. You were fighting up the top the whole way through that feature.
Yeah, we got some tough hitters this season, which I'm running the season this year. Slick track, pretty much a tire conservation deal. If you got no tire by the end of the race, you're pretty much done. But, after a couple cautions, we got some green laps in, and then a couple more cautions. But,
Well, you mentioned tire preservation, and on a slick track like this, where you're sideways pretty much the whole way around, what can you actually do to preserve the tires? Is it just a matter of keeping the car as straight as possible, or are there other things you can do?
Well, the main thing is keeping your car as straight as possible and not spinning the tires, and pretty much besides keeping your car straight is throttle control, because you want to keep it from breaking loose, and that's the best way that I know of saving tire on a slick track like that.
Well, a solid race from you, and we're looking forward to seeing more from you in the coming weeks, Mason. You had pace tonight, and it looks like you may very well be a contender. So thanks once again for joining us. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad and Twisted Speed for being the main sponsor of this league and giving me setups to be competitive if possible.
Excellent stuff, Mason. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Well, that's going to be Mason's setting done, and we will also bring in our winner, Jason McManus. Goodness me, Jason. It was interesting for you tonight, coming away with the win in Heat 3, and with the top 5 invert, it looked like you were going to have some challenges, and it was definitely a challenge getting through those opening cautions, wasn't it?
Yeah. Be honest with you, I was just trying to run the bottom and stay away from everybody, and it was kind of working for a little bit, and then we got a caution. And on the restart, I went into turn 3 and 4, and I got dumped by one of my own teammates, which I wasn't too mad about it, and I just kind of shook it off and went back to what I was doing.
You had pace here at Lincoln. What do you think is the secret to going fast around this place?
In my little stretch of running this is really just throttle control, keeping the car as off the throttle and into the tacky as you can. The bottom had a lot of tack in it. You could really run down there. And if you keep the car straight and you can get it turned to the corner, it would definitely hook up and go. I don't know how big of a gap I had on Travis or Mason there. I couldn't see.
Well, you definitely had a good gap, especially when you started working your way through the lap traffic at the end. I-55 is going to be the next round of the schedule next week. Another pretty short track, sort of similar to Lincoln, but not quite. What are you looking for there?
I'm looking forward to the slide jobs that are going to be thrown, because it's a short track. There's going to be a lot of good racing, a lot of heavy hitters in there, and there's going to be a lot of slide jobs thrown. And I'm really just expecting to have a really good time when I race there.
Yeah, we're expecting a good time as well. Well, is there anyone you want to thank for your victory before we let you go?
Yes, sir. I got to thank Twisted Speed for the amazing setups tonight. They helped me get this win, and I got to thank all my teammates for helping me, getting me through that race. Daryl Bass, James Murphy, Jared Murphy, Travis Carruthers, Mason Setting, all the boys over there at Twisted Speed. Got to love them. And Zaxby's, got to thank Zaxby's, best place to eat at by far. And yeah, my local little business I got going on, McMoney Designs. If you need a wrap, come hit me up.
Excellent stuff. Jason McManus there. We'll see you next week, mate. Thank you for joining us.
See ya, buddy. Have a good time.
All right. McManus will celebrate his victory there. We'll bring in third place Travis Carruthers there. Starting out of 6th place, you missed out on that top 5 invert, but you kept it consistent, you kept it safe, and you managed to find your way to a podium. So you must be happy with how tonight went.
We started off 7th in the heat race and drove it up to 2nd, so I was very happy with that. Just stayed out of trouble and stayed consistent.
Yeah, once again, it was a case of you know, you had the pace to work your way up the front here. The track, obviously not resetting, and we had to deal with that big, wide, slick line through the feature. You must have been struggling for grip in the middle of the track. It was either the extreme top or extreme bottom you had to run, really.
No, for the most part, I went to the top for probably about 5 to 10 laps there for a little bit, and I didn't really feel as good as I felt on the bottom, so I went back to the bottom. It was pretty much just around the wall on the inside the entire time. Felt pretty consistent, though, for the most part.
Yeah, certainly. You had a consistent run, and looked like Logan Haynes and James Dorr were putting some pressure on you at the end there. Some pretty hard charges in this field, but obviously that long green flag run at the end, it certainly caught us out. Were you expecting another caution before the end?
I was hoping there wasn't one, just because there was already quite a few in the beginning portion of the race, but I kind of did expect one, but we didn't get one, so I was very glad not to see another one.
Well, it's going to be another 6 days or so before I-55 gets started, and I'm sure you'll be as competitive there as you were here, Travis. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank Twisted Speed, of course, for all the speed they bring to us, having a strong weekend official so far, and then obviously Never Left Motorsports, my team, Cody and all the guys there, and everyone at Twisted.
All right, thanks very much, Travis. We'll see you next week.
Yep, see ya.
All right, and that's going to end our driver interviews for tonight's racing. And, we were hoping that we would get a chance to chat with James Dorr, Zippy, but our hard charger will have to wait another week to speak to us, I think.
Yeah, certainly. We will give him a shout out though. 22nd to 5th. Attaboy, James. That's fantastic driving. And certainly with all them yellow flags as well. You know what? Staying clean. It just goes to show that attrition is certainly a good winning strategy and stuff. I believe he won last season as well, if my memory serves me right. So fair play to him. But maybe we'll get him next week. Certainly, you know, we don't just stick to the podiums here for interviews in Pit Road Productions. We'll generally interview anybody who comes in, but they do kind of get a little bit of extra special treatment there because they got on the podium, so we got to give them some credit where due. But Rhys, do the honour, sir. I think that's just about it for this week.
Absolutely. A bit longer than we expected, but still a very exciting night in the high-stakes late model series by No Limit Racing, presented by Colburn Race Wraps and P1 Sim Sports, as well as Featherston Welding and Fabrication, Twisted Speed, and No Coast Customs. Make sure to check out all of the great sponsors of this championship, helping to bring it together for you here on Pit Road Productions. I'm Rhys Gardner. Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box, and we will see you all again next week at I-55.